Mhm. Okay, I'm Miss Sonia from Mitagar Mark MPS School. So today we are going to study Science 1, lesson number 2, that is the periodic classification of elements. Okay, now up till now, you have learned about what are the types of matter. Okay, you have studied that there are three types of matter, that is the solid, liquid, gaseous. All these things you have learned already in your previous classes. Then what are the types of elements, that also you have studied. Like the types of elements are metals, non-metals, and metalloids. Okay. Then what are the smallest particle of matter? So the smallest particle of matter are called as the atoms. So all these things you have studied in your previous classes. Here in this lesson, we are going to study about the classification of elements. Okay. Now there are many elements known, and it is difficult to study their properties separately. So, in order to make their study easier, classification of elements is done. Okay. Now, what is actually classification? So, classification is grouping of the similar elements together and separating them from the dissimilar ones. Got it? Here once again, what is classification? It is grouping of the similar elements together and separating them from the dissimilar ones. Okay, in this way, it will be easier to study the each and every element properly. So, many attempts have been made by the different scientists in order to classify the elements. Now, the arranging of elements into different groups on the basis of the similarities in their properties is called classification of elements. Okay, student, what is classification of element? The arranging of elements into different groups on the basis of the similarities in their property is called classification of elements. The classification of similar elements into groups makes the study of elements easier. Okay, now just I will give you one analogy. Now suppose you observe in the school, okay, you have the separate class for each standard, isn't it? For first standard, second standard, up till 10th standard, and so on. Okay, so you all are put in that class according to your age group and also your mental ability. Now, just imagine what will happen if all the students are mixed. Suppose first standard, fifth standard, seventh standard, 10th standard students are made to sit in the same class. So, will it be easier for you to learn all the things properly? So, there will be a total mess, isn't it? So, nothing will be proper. So, in a similar way, if all the elements are put in the same group, okay, so it will become very difficult to study their properties separately. So, what is necessary? A systematic classification is necessary. We need to arrange these elements in the proper group according to their similarities in the properties, so that the study of each and every element becomes possible. Got it? So, there are about 118 elements known so far. Now, the earlier attempt to classify the element was grouping the then known elements. At that time, about 30 elements were known. So, they were placed into the two groups, that is the metals and non-metals. Okay. The defect in this classification was that it had no place for the metalloids. Okay, and what are the metalloids? Metalloids are the elements which show the properties of both metals and non-metals. Okay, so these metalloids were discovered later. So initially, when the 30 elements were known, they were grouped into the metals and non-metals. Okay, but afterwards, when the metalloids were discovered, at that time there was no place for the metalloids, isn't it? Then different scientists tried to classify these elements. Now let us study one by one. Now the first one among them was the Dobereiner strides. Okay. Now in the year 1817, Dobereiner, he was a German scientist. Okay. So he proved that the properties of the elements are related to their atomic masses. So what he has done, he made the group of three elements, each showing the similar chemical properties, and he called them as the triads. Okay, pay attention. This is very important. What he has done, Dobereiner classified the elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses into the group of three elements, and he called them as the triads. Got it? So in each triad, the atomic mass of the middle element was approximately equal to the average atomic mass of the other two elements. Okay. So we are going to see this example also. At that time, you will understand that. But there was some defect in this classification. The defect in this classification was that all the then known elements could not be correctly arranged into the triads. Okay, now let us see the example. Okay, now see here. We will study these three triads. Okay, so see the first one. So you have lithium, sodium, and potassium. Okay, now let us see about the element 1. Okay, now element 1, that is the lithium. Now the atomic mass of the lithium is 6.9. Okay, then the second element you have the sodium. Okay, the symbol of the sodium is Na. Then according to the Dobereiner triad, what he has said that here, according to him, the atomic mass here, the atomic mass of the middle element, okay, middle element was approximately equal to the average atomic mass of the other two elements. Okay, so let us see that. So first let us see element number 3, that is the potassium. Now the atomic mass of the potassium is 39.1. Okay, and according to him, the middle element, it is the average of the first third element. Okay, so let us calculate for the sodium. Now sodium atomic mass we will calculate. Now it is the average of lithium. So lithium's atomic mass is 6.9. Okay, see here, lithium's atomic mass is 6.9 and potassium atomic mass is 39.1. Okay, so 6.9 plus 39.1 divided by 2. So you get that is the 23. Okay, and if you see the actual atomic mass of sodium, it is 23. Okay, so here it follows the Dobereiner triad. Got it? So in exam also, this type of question can be asked. So it is very important. Now let us see the second example. Now for second example, the triad is of calcium, strontium, and barium. Okay. Now element 1, that is the calcium. So the actual atomic mass of calcium is 40.1. Okay. Then let us see for the third element. Now third element is the barium. Now barium, the actual atomic mass is 137.3. Okay. Now, which is the middle element, that is the strontium. So strontium's atomic mass should be the average of the first and the third element. So let us calculate that. So you have strontium atomic mass will be that of the addition of calcium, that is 40.1 plus 137.3 divided by 2. So you get here 88.7. But the actual atomic mass of strontium, it is 87.6. But you get somewhat approximate value nearby strontium, that is 88.7. Then you have third triad, that is the chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So here also, if you see, now the first element, that is the chlorine, its atomic mass is 35.5. Third element, that is the iodine, its atomic mass is 126.9. Okay, so for bromium, we will calculate the average atomic mass. So here it will come, that is 35.5 plus 126.9 divided by 2. So you get 81.2. And the actual atomic mass of bromine is 79.9. Okay, somewhat approximate value you get over here. So this is how you calculate the atomic mass of the middle element, okay, which is the average of the atomic mass of the first and the third element. Okay, so remember, this is the Doberanes triad. Then after this, the next scientist was Newlands. Okay, so according to him, what he has done, he has arranged the elements in the order of the increasing atomic masses, and he called it as the law of octaves. And that law of octaves is known as the Newland's law of octaves. Okay, now why it is called as the octaves? Because he has arranged the elements according to the musical notes. Okay, so you know that sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa. Okay, so the first note and the eighth note are similar. Okay, so similarly he has arranged the elements accordingly. So therefore he called it as the law of octaves. Okay, now in the year 1866, Newland arranged the elements known at that time in an increasing order of their atomic masses. So he found that every 8 element had properties similar to those of the first. Okay, now for example, sodium is the 8th element from lithium. Okay, here in the table you can see that sodium is the 8th element from lithium, and both have the similar properties. Got it? So this law is called as the Newland's law of octaves. See here, so Newland classified the elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses into the group of 8 elements called as the octaves, like the notes of the music. So he found that when the elements were arranged in the increasing order of the atomic masses into the octaves, then there was similarity of properties in every 8th element, and that he has shown in the table. Okay, but there were some limitations to the Newland's law of octaves. So what are that limitations or defects that we will see? So all the known elements and elements discovered later could not be correctly arranged into the octaves. Okay, so Newland could arrange only the 56 elements, only up to calcium, in an increasing order of their atomic masses. So what about the elements which were discovered later? Okay, so that elements which were discovered later, that elements had no place in this octaves. Okay, then second one, some elements having different properties were placed in the same rows. Okay, like cobalt and nickel having the different properties are placed along with the fluorine, chlorine, and bromine. So here you can see in the table, cobalt and nickel, they are having the different properties. They are placed along with the fluorine, chlorine, and bromine. But still they are placed in the same node. Then iron having the properties similar to cobalt and nickel are placed in the different row. Okay, so here you can see, so iron is placed very far from the cobalt and nickel, whereas the properties of iron and cobalt and nickel are similar. Still, they are placed very far. Okay, then this arrangement started with the lightest element, hydrogen, and ended up with the thorium. Okay. So the law was applicable to elements up to calcium only. It contained only 56 elements. Then further, it was assumed by Newland that only the 56 elements existed in nature and no more elements will be discovered in the future. Okay. So what he has done, that he said that only the 56 elements existed in the nature and no more elements will be discovered. So he arranged only that 56 elements. Now, in order to fit the elements into the table, Newland adjusted the two elements in the same slot. So he has put that two elements in the same slot and also put some unlike elements under the same node. Okay, so example we have seen, like cobalt and nickel are in the same slot and these are placed in the same column as fluorine, chlorine and bromine. Now fluorine, chlorine and bromine are having the different properties than cobalt and nickel. Still they are placed under the same node. Whereas iron, which is resembles the cobalt and nickel in the properties, is placed differently away from these elements. Got it? So these are the limitations of the Newland's octaves. So in the exam, you may be asked the question about the limitations of Newland's law, or you can also be asked that state the Newland's law of octaves. Okay, so you have to study that properly. Now, after this, the next scientist to study about the elements and to classify them was the Mendeleevs. Okay, now what the scientists are doing? So they are studying what the previous scientists had studied about the elements. So they try to study the what were the limitations in their study. So further, the scientists try to remove that limitations. Okay, so Mendeleev's, what Mendeleev has done, we will see. Now, Mendeleev's periodic law states that the properties of the elements are periodic functions of their atomic masses. Okay, so here he has arranged the elements according to the atomic masses. Okay, now the most important step in the classification of elements in the Mendeleev's periodic table is the fundamental property of element, that is the atomic mass. Okay, so he has arranged the 63 elements known at that time in an increasing order of their atomic masses. Then he transformed this into the periodic table of elements according to their physical and chemical properties. Okay, so he tried to classify the elements according to their physical and chemical properties. Then Mendeleev he found that the elements with similar physical and chemical properties repeat after a definite interval. Okay, now, so if it is asked in the exam, what is the Mendeleev's periodic law? So here you should be able to tell that the elements with the physical and chemical properties are a periodic function of their atomic mass. Okay, this is very important. The elements with the physical and chemical properties are a periodic function of their atomic masses. That is the Mendeleev's periodic law. Okay, so the Mendeleev, he was a professor in the St. Petersburg University. He made a separate card for every known element showing its atomic mass. Okay, he arranged the cards in accordance with the atomic masses and properties of the elements, which resulted in the invention of the periodic table of elements. So now, here we are going to study this periodic Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay, Mendeleev's periodic table. So let us study it. See here, Mendeleev classified the elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses and similarities in their properties. Okay, the formula of the oxides and hydrides formed by the element was also the basis for the classification of the elements. But you remember that he classified the elements in the increasing order of their atomic masses and similarity in their properties. Then Mendeleev's periodic table has 6 horizontal rows. Okay, it has the 6 horizontal rows called the periods and 8 vertical rows called the groups. So you can see here 6 horizontal periods and 8 vertical rows. Okay, the groups 1 to 7 had 2 subgroups called A subgroup and B subgroup. So you can see here A subgroup and B subgroup. Okay, each group is classified into the 2 subgroups, subgroup A and subgroup B. Then group A had 3 rows of elements. Let us see. Now here you have the group 8. It has the 3 rows of elements. Okay. Now elements having the similar properties were placed in the same groups. There are some spaces left vacant in the table to accommodate the elements to be discovered in future. So what he has done in the table, he has left some places vacant. So here you can see there are some vacant places. Okay. So why he has kept these vacant places? He has kept that vacant places for the elements which will be discovered in the future. Okay. Now, let us study about the merits of the Mendeleev's periodic table. So first one, elements were classified on a more fundamental basis of their atomic masses and properties. Okay. So this is a very fundamental property that he has considered the atomic mass and also the properties. Then second merit, that is the spaces were left vacant to accommodate the element to be discovered in future. So this thing he has done very nicely. That he thought that after this also some elements will be discovered. Okay, so he has left that spaces in the periodic table for that elements. Okay, and third one, see, it could predict the properties of the elements which helped in the discovery of the new element. So he has also predicted the property of the element which will be discovered later. Okay, then fourth one, the inert gas element discovered later could be placed in a separate group without disturbing the table. So this thing also very good he has done, that there is the separate place for the inert gases. So inert gases which were discovered later, they were also placed properly separately in the periodic table. Okay, so these are the merits of the Mendeleev's periodic table. So this question can also be asked in the exam. Now let us see what are the defects of Mendeleev's periodic table, or you can say the limitations of the Mendeleev's periodic table. Now, first one, some elements are not arranged in the increasing order of their atomic mass. Okay, like cobalt is placed before nickel. Okay, or tellurium is placed before iodine. You see in the table, so see here cobalt. Here, cobalt here, its atomic mass is 58.9. Okay, and nickel, its atomic mass is 58.7. So if he has placed according to the increasing atomic mass, then nickel should be placed before cobalt. But here you can see that cobalt, its atomic mass is 58.9, and nickel, its atomic mass is 58.7. Still, cobalt is placed before nickel, though its atomic mass is greater than nickel. Got it? So because of this, there was a confusion regarding their sequence in the Mendeleev's periodic table. Then even tellurium is placed before iodine. That also we will see. So here you can see that here Te, that is the tellurium, its atomic mass is 128, and iodine, its atomic mass is 127. Okay. Now tellurium, its atomic mass is more than iodine, but still it is placed before iodine. Got it? So this is the demerit of that Mendeleev's periodic table. Then second one, position of the hydrogen is not clear because it shows properties similar to metals as well as non-metals. Okay. So he could not properly classify, or he could not properly place the hydrogen, because the hydrogen, it shows the properties similar to that of the metal as well as that of the non-metal. Got it? Then third one, the position of the isotope of the element is not clear. Okay. So where to place that isotopes, that was not clearly mentioned. Now isotopes were discovered a long time after the Mendeleev put for the periodic table. Okay, so there was a challenge to place this isotopes in the Mendeleev's periodic table, and these isotopes did not have the same chemical properties but different atomic masses. Okay, then so you have to remember these are some of the defects of the Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay, this table also you study properly. So remember that it has the 6 horizontal rows called periods and 8 vertical groups. Then each group is again divided into 2 subgroups, that is A, B, and the 8th group, it is having the row of 3 elements. Okay. Then you have to study about the merits of Mendeleev's periodic table and the merits of Mendeleev's periodic table. Okay. Now, after this, the next scientist to study about the element and to classify them properly was the Henry Moseley. Okay, so Henry Moseley gave a new property of elements, that is the atomic number, and this was adopted as the basis of modern periodic table. Okay, so in the modern periodic table, the properties of elements are a periodic function of their atomic number. So here, the elements are arranged into the increasing order of their atomic number, whereas in the Mendeleev's periodic table, the elements are arranged according to their increasing atomic mass. So this difference you should know. Okay, and in the exam, the question can be asked that write the difference between the Mendeleev's periodic table and the modern periodic table. So this is a very important point that you should remember. Okay, now we will study about the modern periodic table. Position of elements in the modern periodic table. Now, the modern periodic table consists of 18 groups and 7 periods. Okay, so you should always remember this. Modern periodic table, it consists of 18 groups and 7 periods. Now, the elements present in any one group have the same number of valence electrons. Also, the number of shells increases as we go down the group. Now, these things we will understand by observing the periodic table. Elements present in any one period contain the same number of shells. Also, with increase in atomic number by 1 unit, on moving from left to right, the valence shell electron increases by 1 unit. Okay, now let us observe the periodic table. So this is the modern periodic table. Okay, So here you can see how the elements, all the elements are arranged properly in this modern periodic table according to their atomic number. Got it? So here in the modern periodic table, we are going to study how this table is divided into the different blocks, how the elements are arranged. Okay, so here you can see the numbering. At the top you have 1 to 18. Okay, so that 1 to 18, that is the 18 group, and 1 to 7 you have the 7 period. Okay, now one by one we will study. In the modern periodic table, elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic number in the form of a table having 7 horizontal rows of elements called periods and 18 vertical rows of elements called as the groups. Okay, now let us study about the periods. There are 7 periods of elements as follows. Okay, first period has 2 elements, hydrogen and helium are called as a very short period. So let us see, first period has 2 elements. Here, number 1 it is written hydrogen and helium. Now helium, it is the inert gas, therefore it is placed in the last column. Okay, so hydrogen and helium. Okay. First period has 2 elements, hydrogen and helium. They are called as a very short period. Now second period has the 8 elements. Okay, from lithium to neon, it is called as the short period. Now let us see, second period has 8 elements. Here are the 8 elements. Second period, that is the Li, that is the lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon till neon you have. Okay. Then the third period has 8 elements. Okay, from sodium to argon, that is also called as the short period. Okay, from sodium to argon. Then fourth period has 18 elements from potassium to krypton. Okay, here the fourth one, from potassium to krypton. Then fifth period you have from rubidium to xenon. Okay. The fifth period has 18 elements from rubidium to xenon, called as the long period. Then sixth period has 32 elements, that is from cesium to radon, that is called as the very long period. Now let us see the sixth period. Okay, from here cesium to radon. Okay, you can see here the sixth period from cesium till radon. Okay. Then seventh period has 28 elements from francium to atomic number 114. It is called as an incomplete period. 14 elements, each of the sixth and the seventh period, are placed separately at the bottom of the table. So at the bottom of the table, you can see the 14 elements of the sixth period from lanthanum to lutetium are called as the lanthanides, and 14 elements from seventh period from actinium to lawrencium, they are called as the actinides. So here you can see the lanthanide and the actinide series. So here this is the lanthanide series and this is the actinide series. Okay. So this is about the modern periodic table. We have studied about the how the elements are arranged in the period. Okay. Now let us study about the groups. How the elements are arranged in the group. Now there are 18 groups of elements divided into the 9 main groups. So they are first, second, third, fourth, fifth, 6, 7, 8, and 0 groups. Okay, now let us first see these groups. Okay, see here. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. And here you can see that again that a group is divided into the subgroup A and B. Okay. Now, the groups 1 to 7 has two subgroups called as A subgroup and B subgroup. Okay. Then group 8 has 3 rows of elements and 0 group has 1 row of elements. So the A subgroup elements are called as the normal elements. The B subgroup elements are called as the transition elements. Okay. And the lanthanides and the actinides are called as the inner transition elements. Now group 1, that is the first A. Remember this thing. Group 1, that is the first A elements are called as the alkali metals. Whereas the group 2, that is the second A elements are called as the alkaline earth metals. Okay. Then group 17, that is the 7th A elements are called as the halogens. And group 18, that is the 0 group, are called as the noble gases. Okay, see here. So here first A alkali metals, second A alkaline earth metals. Okay, then from here you have third B to second B. Okay, then again third A to seventh A, and last you have the 0 group that are called as the noble gases. Then group 17, remember 7th A group are called as the halogens, chlorine, bromine, iodine, all these are the halogens. Then in a group, all the elements have the same number of valence electrons. Now group 1 elements have 1 valence electron and group 2 elements have the 2 valence electrons. Group 3 elements have the 3 valence electrons. Okay. In a period, all the elements contain the same number of shells. Now, when we study about the modern periodic table, so here, when we study about the trends in the periodic table, here we always have to consider what changes will take place when we move from left to right in a period, in a group, or when we move from top to bottom in a period. Got it? Now, you can just see the periodic table of elements. So different colors, they show the different type of elements. Like the green color, they show the alkali metals. That blue color will show you the alkaline earth metals. Okay. Then somewhat orange color, they show you the transition metals. Okay. Then somewhat reddish color, they will show you the other metals. Mostly that is the actinide series. It is showing yellow color. It is showing you the other non-metals. Okay. Then somewhat light that is greenish color will show you the halogens. So here you can see this halogens here. That is the fluorine, bromine, iodine. Okay. Then the last group, that is of the noble gases, that is the helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. So in this way, you should study this periodic table. Then the periodic table, again, it is classified into the 4 blocks. Okay. So here you can see the first A and the second A. Okay. Excluding the hydrogen, that is called as the S block. Okay. So it is divided into the 4 blocks. S block elements D block elements, P block elements, and the F block elements. Got it? So in the S block elements, you have the alkali and the alkaline earth metals. D block elements, you have the transition elements. So in the P block elements, you have the metals, metalloids, non-metals, and also the noble gases. Then in the F block elements, you have the lanthanide and the actinide series. Got it? So these are some points that you should know about the periodic table. Okay, modern periodic table. So once again, we will see. So what you have to remember in case of the modern periodic table, that it has 18 groups. Okay, 18 vertical groups and the 7 horizontal periods. Okay, then these groups are again divided into the subgroups, that is the A and the B subgroup. Okay, then the last group, that is the zero group, that is for the noble gases, or you can say that is the inert gases, last one. Okay, then first A and second A are called as the alkali and the alkaline earth metals. Okay, then you have the D block element, that is that they are the transition element. Okay, from a third B. So that are the transition elements. Then in the P block, you have the metals, some non-metals, and metalloids are also there. So metalloids are the elements which show the properties of both metals and non-metals. And at the bottom, you have the lanthanide series and the actinide series. Okay, so overall this periodic table you should know. So here in the periodic table, all these elements are arranged according to their atomic number. So we are going to study about the trends in the periodic table in the next lecture. So for today, you are going to study about Döberener's triad, how he has arranged the elements in the group of 3. Okay, from exam point of view also, that is very important. So this type of question can be asked in the exam regarding the Döberener's triad. He has arranged the elements in the group of 3, where the atomic mass of the middle element, it is the average of the atomic mass of the other 2 elements. Okay, then afterwards we have the Newland's law of octaves. Okay, so he has arranged the elements in order of increasing atomic masses, and according to him, the 8th element had the properties similar to that of the first element. Then you should know about the limitations of this Newland's law of octaves. You should be able to state the Newland's law of octaves. Then afterwards, you have Mendeleev's periodic table. You should be able to state the Mendeleev's periodic law, that is the properties of elements are periodic functions of their atomic masses. Then how the elements are arranged in the Mendeleev's periodic table. Then you should study about the merits of the Mendeleev's periodic table and what are the defects of the Mendeleev's periodic table. Then afterwards you have the modern periodic table, how the elements are arranged in the modern periodic table. They are arranged according to their increasing atomic number, and you should study about this periodic table. Okay, got it, students? So for today, we will study till modern periodic table. The other things and the important questions that we will discuss in tomorrow's lecture.